Welcome to EtherLink AI Insights, the podcast where we explore how artificial intelligence is reshaping business and society. I'm Alex, and today we're diving into a topic that's not just theoretical anymore. It's happening right now in Tampere, Finland. We're talking about agentic AI and autonomous agents, and how they're transforming enterprises as we head toward 2026. Sam, thanks for being here.
Great to be here, Alex. This is a fascinating moment because we're seeing the shift from what if to what's next. Tampere isn't just adopting this technology, it's becoming a blueprint for how enterprises across Europe need to think about AI in the next couple of years. The numbers are pretty striking too.
They really are. Let's start with the basics, though, because I think a lot of listeners might hear autonomous agents and think of sci-fi robots. What actually are we talking about here?
Right. So autonomous agents are fundamentally different from the chatbots or recommendation systems people are familiar with. Think of it this way. Traditional AI is reactive. You ask it a question, it gives you an answer. An autonomous agent is proactive. It sets goals, monitors progress, adapts its strategy, and keeps working toward objectives without needing you to prompt it every step of the way.
So it's more like delegating to a smart colleague rather than using a search engine?
Exactly. An autonomous agent has 4 core capabilities. It perceives its environment, gathering data, it reasons through complex scenarios, it makes decisions about what to do, and then it executes those decisions. All of that happens in a loop, continuously, sometimes for hours or days without human intervention. That's the game changer for enterprises.
And according to the data, this isn't some niche experiment anymore. McKinsey reported that 55% of enterprises are actually deploying AI agents in production now. That's a 340% increase from just 2 years ago. How are Tampere's businesses specifically using this?
Tampere's industrial ecosystem is perfect for this. You've got manufacturing, logistics, healthcare, and software companies all looking at similar challenges. Labor costs rising, operational complexity increasing, and pressure to move faster. In manufacturing and supply chain, for instance, autonomous agents are forecasting inventory, negotiating with suppliers, and optimizing logistics routes, simultaneously analyzing demand signals and historical patterns faster than a human team could in days.
Do you have a concrete example?
There's a logistics firm in the region that implemented agent-based routing and cut delivery times by 18% while reducing fuel costs by 12% in just 6 months. Those aren't marginal improvements, that's transformative. And Gartner projects that by 2026, companies deploying multi-agent systems will complete processes 30% faster than those relying on single agents or humans. That's the kind of velocity advantage that reshapes competitive positioning.
What about healthcare? That seems like a different use case entirely.
Healthcare is actually one of the most compelling applications. Tampere's medical institutions are using autonomous agents for appointment scheduling, patient intake, and diagnostic triage. These agents work 24/7, reduce administrative overhead by 35 to 40%, and crucially, they free clinicians to focus on actual diagnosis and care decisions. It's not replacing doctors, it's eliminating busy work so doctors can do what they're trained for.
That's a really important distinction. Now, we can't talk about agentic AI in 2026 without talking about regulation. The EU AI Act is coming, and Finland's right in the middle of this. How does that change the game?
This is where governance becomes survival, honestly. The EU AI Act's final implementation phases are arriving, and autonomous agents, especially those making decisions that affect people, fall into high-risk categories. Finnish enterprises can't just deploy these systems and hope for compliance. They need frameworks for transparency, auditability, and human oversight built in from day one.
What does that look like in practice?
It means documenting what the agent is doing and why. It means having human oversight mechanisms, checkpoints where a human reviews decisions before they're executed, especially in sensitive domains like healthcare or finance. It means being able to explain to a regulator exactly how the agent made a particular decision. And it means building in safety frameworks from the ground up, not retrofitting them later when you're already facing fines.
So this isn't a technical problem alone, it's an organizational and strategic problem.
Completely. That's why forward-thinking leaders in Tampere aren't just asking, how do we deploy agents faster? They're asking, how do we build governance and safety into our agent strategy? And they're doing something smart, investing in immersive learning experiences that help executives and teams actually understand how these systems work, what the risks are, and how to govern them responsibly.
You're talking about things like transformation retreats or immersive learning programs?
Exactly. EtherTravel's AI MindQuest is one example. It's designed to give executives hands-on experience with agentic AI systems in a controlled environment where they can explore scenarios, make mistakes, and build intuition about how these agents behave. That kind of experiential learning is invaluable when you're trying to establish governance frameworks and strategic direction.
Why is that better than just reading about it or taking a standard online course?
Because autonomous agents are genuinely complex. The dynamics of multi-agent systems, the way they interact with your existing workflows, the edge cases that break them, those things are hard to grasp theoretically. When you actually work through scenarios, you develop intuition that informs better decision-making back at the office. And when your leadership team understands the technology, they make better governance choices.
Let me ask you this. If you're leading an enterprise in Tampere right now, what should your 2026 strategy actually look like?
First, start assessing where autonomous agents could add real value. Don't deploy them just because it's trendy. Second, build your governance and compliance framework now, not after you've scaled. Third, invest in executive and team education so your people understand what these systems can and can't do. And fourth, start small with pilots and learn from them before you roll out enterprise-wide.
That's practical advice. One more question. How urgent is this really? Is this a nice-to-have by 2026 or a we need to move now?
According to Altexsoft's research, 62% of Finnish mid-market companies intend to deploy autonomous agents within the next 18 months. That competitive pressure is real. And with regulatory deadlines coming, the enterprises that move thoughtfully now will have a massive advantage over those rushing to comply last minute. This isn't optional anymore.
Sam, this has been incredibly insightful. For our listeners who want to dig deeper into Tampere's agentic AI transformation, the specific governance frameworks, and how immersive learning fits into all this, head over to etherlink.ai. We've published the full article there with case studies, regulatory details, and resources for enterprises planning their 2026 strategy. Thanks for tuning in to EtherLink AI Insights. I'm Alex.
And I'm Sam. See you next time.